with real-life troops in a given realistic setting.
Okay, fine. Then replacing the machine guns, remembering, of course, that their task primarily is to cover the frontage and the flanks of the platoon positions. Okay, going on from there then, let's talk about the dispositions of the mine and wire. We'll take the wire to kick off with. Telfer, let's hear your syndicate solution as to where to place the wire.
We've divided our wire into three 100-metre stretches of cat wire type 1. The first we place in the Kanda River, so that if the enemy use the river bed as a covered approach, the obstacle will break up their advance while they're under fire from the MAG sighted there. The second was here on the forward edge of Meaty Wood. This is because if the enemy uses...
The big thing about classical war is it's the basis of all other army training. If you didn't do the classical war, you couldn't do the counterinsurgency properly, because it's the backing that you need to get on to do that. So it's a fair one, even though it's a bit of a pain in the neck when you do it.
But the funny thing about this course is that we get to know each other very well, because we live together, we react together to any circumstance. Living with a man 24 hours of the day and 7 days a week, month in and month out, you eventually get to know him. And I think we get to know each other a lot better than the DS get to know us.
Right at the end of the course, you get to know, and you do know, those cadets very, very well. Sometimes a lot better than they imagine, and it's also frightening sometimes to find out just how well they know you.
The beginning of the course, you don't get a lot of privacy. Obviously, you're working on team spirit. It's only the latter part of the course where you start getting things like your own room, and they start leaving the course alone a bit more to themselves.
The endurance exercise is designed to look at certain aspects of the cadet's character, having put him under a period of considerable mental and physical stress. It's very easy for a man hitherto to be able to build us his instructors into believing that he's a little bit more of a man than he actually is. But it's only when a cadet is put under severe mental and physical stress, where he's very, very tired, both mentally and physically, that he begins to react as his real character dictates.
Big scene about the DS having food and us not, and of course they played on it. The officer would cook himself a meal and you just sat there watching him eat it. In the evening and in the morning he'd have a cup of tea and you'd just sit there watching him drink it. One of the officers in one of the other syndicates was given some sandwiches and a Coke. He drank half the Coke and ate a couple of sandwiches and then just told them to throw the rest away. So the guys had to sit there pouring away the Coke and burying the sandwiches, which is a bit demoralising. In a syndicate of 3, each man carries his rifle, one man carries an MAG. At different stages you carry various other things. We were told to pick up an ammunition box, which was an ammo box filled with rocks, and we had to carry that for a day. Another day we were told to cut down trees, and we cut them down. They had to be 8-foot poles, you couldn't get your hands around, and then the syndicate had to carry that as well. And that was probably the heaviest one of the lot, and we didn't make much progress that day at all.
We had to go and put these bricks they'd given us to carry to simulate explosive charges. We had to go and place these at the bottom of a dam wall. By this time everyone was quite tired and having to sit down and start planning how we're going to walk over this dam wall and place these charges below it. And they had National Service cadets who were patrolling the dam wall as if they were guards as well.
placed the explosives at the bottom of the wall, and we had to cross the river further down the dam. And the first chap went through, and he thought he took the shallowest place and fell on his nose. He got completely soaked. Second chap did as well, so everyone tried in different places. A couple of us got over, only getting wet up to our waist. The majority of people fell in the river. And then we had to walk again, on the other side, had this next RV to get to. The guy was leading, led us straight through a marsh. And I sunk in mud right up to my waist. In fact, a couple of us started panicking for a while. We thought we were in quicksand or something like that, sinking right up to your waist.
For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
Dining in night. It's to teach you, as a cadet, how to behave in the officers' mess during a formal occasion. And the dining in night is one of the major formal occasions of regimental life.
He took off, ran as the table shouted, "I'm a master gun," came down like a phantom on the flight deck. There was no beer on the table. He left with his nipples round about his pelvis. Yeah, but there were two, and that band was going to come back very Stevens was there. That's right. The whole thing picked up a whole bunch of That's right. The whole thing was stuff like 8 o'clock. Exactly, demolished before 8 o'clock. And then I got to look at the place that's being used for house to house. That's right. That's right. Mr. Vice, Rhodesia.
Gentlemen, Rhodesia.
After the loyal toast, formalities stop.
latter stages of the course, we get quite a fair amount of time off. Weekends are off unless we're doing something, some sort of exercise. And right throughout the course, once every 4 months, we get a 10-day break. But every weekend is ours.
As cadets, we have our own mess, our own pub, and our own living accommodation, which we run ourselves. We have our own appointed committee, which runs the place, manages it. We have a hell of a nice garden and area surrounding. We have braais on the weekend, all this sort of thing. Generally, it's very pleasant accommodation.
The training that a cadet undergoes, in fact, is fairly diverse. He is taught certain subjects which he may never have to actually practice himself as an officer. This training includes such things as tactics, military law is taught. He will become more and more involved with certain aspects of military law and can be, in fact, at any stage from the day he is commissioned. A cadet will also have a certain amount of instruction in military history. We include this subject because it is a furtherance of the knowledge of his profession. It enhances an interest in his profession and makes him a more all-round professional soldier, which is what we're after in the long run. He has medical and first aid training in the course so that he can render sufficient medical or first aid assistance until such time as that individual gets back to experienced medical attention. And it stands them in good stead, obviously, in all walks of life. And hopefully, if the time arises where he is called upon to do the sort of thing, that he might be able to save a life, where ordinarily he wouldn't be able to.
Well, chaps, it wasn't too bad, apart from the fact that your head injury dressing wasn't all that good. Bearing in mind that you are working under ideal conditions, battle conditions, obviously it would be a lot tougher.
Morning, gentlemen. Welcome to Grey Scouts. We haven't got long to teach you to ride, but we're going to do our best. We've only got you for 6 days. So we can't afford to waste any time. We can't teach you the finer points of riding. In fact, in 6 days, we can't teach you very much at all. This is a horse, believe it or not. His name's Esquire. He's not a very good horse, but he's good enough for us.
One of the weeks is put over for adventure training. We went to the Grey Scouts and we learned to ride horses. Oh, we had a great time. It really was a ball.